Sorry about that. Welcome back to those who just tuned in. Arena decided to do its daily crash the whole system because it's a stable tool. So we were going to lose that one to Nisa anyways. Passed through our turn and they got to make 2 elementals, so we're already behind them getting an extra turn to Nisa. So figure cut that one. We'll do that as a best of 1 demo, and then this will be a best of 3 demo. So if you want to see the deck tech in great detail, there's the best of 1 deck that I'll upload at the same time. Go through, but it's basically, this is the non-budget version. I'll get to the mid-budget version later this week, but I'm still fine-tuning this, and I'm close to Mythic, so wanted to try it out. Basically just leveraging off Witch's Oven, Cauldron Familiar, kind of combo, Draining Life with Ayara, Priest as some sack outlets, Gutterbones to kind of be a recursive threat, and then you have Gruesome Menagerie is a card I'm trying out with a couple of Rankles. With this sideboard version, I've yet to play a best of 3 deck game with this, so we will see how it plays out. I think I may want a second Elderspell just with all these Okos going around, and I could probably get rid of the drill bits and then play Duress. 3 of. I just want to be more interactive in that matchup. I also don't like Claim of the Firstborn. And we'll play a second Revenge. Okay. So that's the deck. We'll play some games and see how it goes. Traditional ranked. So kind of annoying. Ended up losing that game because of the disconnect. We were probably going to lose, but we weren't dead on board necessarily. We had Ayara, and then we could have played a bunch of block spells to gain us some life. So the hardest deck to play is against Questing Beast decks. Fortunately, we're seeing a good uptick, so I may have to go back to a more traditional. It's kind of this like arms race. So I started Diamond with Golos and was getting killed. Golos fires. There's a lot of aggro, so I switched to this Rakdos deck because there's some games where your opponent just can't set up. The first game we played against Golos was an example of that. They played 2 Golos, they had 2 Field of the Deads, but they were dead without us even having to attack in for the last points of damage. This is a keep. I usually like having Lazotep Reaver as a follow-up to Priest. Okay, this can be Bant Ramp, probably Bant Golos. So a little annoying we can't attack through here. They could have to Fairy here or Oko. So this is probably a loss. We're too slow on the draw. This MCQs hasn't done much to benefit us, so we'll make a 3/3 the following turn. So that's actually really good once we have the Priest going. So I'm going to make a Priest here. I fully expect them with Oko to force us to make this a 3/3, but at least this gives us a 3/3 to start attacking in, and it takes them off the 3/3. Obviously, if they have to, if they have to Fairy, it's a little bad. That's weird. With the cat. So I can't Murderous Rider this turn. But I can Lazotep Reaver. I probably should have waited on that line, to be honest, in case I drew an untapped source. So next turn, I can Murderous Rider the Golos. Or actually, I can just Mayhem Devil if they don't take the Priest. Okay, so they do it right this turn. So I'm gonna force them to do some blocks first, and then we can Murderous Rider. Would like to see a land, ideally. Second Oko. So here, just attack with the 1, see if they block. Okay, takes that off the board. Would have liked the land just to play this Footlight Fiend out. I want my cat back. They took my cat. That's where the Mayhem Devil's gonna target, unless the Paradise Druid is tapped. Or the Footlight Fiend. Okay, they have Nissa. So you're just non-token. So no blocks here. Rankle will be good as a follow-up. They just make a food. So this is the Bant. This is Minguchi's list. They're a little short on lands, but with Nissa, they're just going to kind of put in. They have enough sack fodder. I don't particularly want to make sure 3 Okos. It's kind of nonsense is probably the word. They've drawn 12 cards and have drawn 3 Okos. Interesting, no attacks. Here I think we just go Rankle, attack. At the very least, it forces a goose. They might just take this anyways. Just make a food token. Could use an oven as some card draw. Oven Mayhem Devil lets us do some shenanigans. They can Oko or Midnight Reaper, which turns off our card draw. The fact this deck could just incidentally gain life also is quite relevant. Oko's a stupid card. Alright. Legion's End. Get rid of Nissa tokens. Noxious Grasps, Elderspells, Duresses. Coming out. These are just never gonna attack. The Menagerie's cute, but probably not the best. 7 cards to cut. I still like the oven combo. These priests we can probably go down. I don't see us being able. They spam the board enough. Menagerie's not going to do much here. Rankle's interesting because it goes over the top in most cases, but I don't think... I like the Mayhem Devils, but if we're not sacking as much, probably not as cut down a Mayhem Devil. I need the Murderous Riders. I like Ayara because she's incidental damage and card draw. Maybe just cut one Ayara. She's a little slow in the face of Oko. This matchup's usually pretty quick too, so like the you're not grinding out in the same sense. Like they're gonna get all the ramp down. Okay, well, we'll keep. I hate Bloodfell Caves in this deck. We just have to play it, and I always seem to draw it like this. We got Grasp into Rider. Midnight Reaper should recoup us some cards. Okay, so at least no turn one. Gotta hit him with some incidental damage. The nice thing this deck, like Aether Gust doesn't really do much against us. I really want an untap blind. Just getting Midnight Reaper down before they can get like an Oko lets us play these. They go Island. It's interesting. If they had the Forest, they just might not have a turn one. My guess is Paradise Druid this turn. They Once Upon a Time. If they bang Golos, they gotta do something to neuter these Oko strategies. Okay, so they have the Druid. Elderspell's not bad. So we got Noxious Grasp for the first one. Noxious Grasp also will deal with a Quester if they got it. Okay, if that's their turn, I'm fine with that. They can go Nisa next turn. So it's a slower draw from the opponent. I really wish we could have played a Midnight Reaper that turn. Okay, we got the castle. So castle isn't bad in this matchup, should draw some cards. We got some answers for the first few waves of threats. These Arboreal Grazers actually do a pretty good job of blocking. Okay, so they have Nisa. See if they attack in. I'm gonna take the card draw here. I want to try to find another land so I can ooh, Duress is actually not bad. And we get the land. So let's Noxious Grasp. Yeah. It's Noxious Grasps Nisa. They Veil of Summer. Because why not have Cryptic Command as a 1 green mana spell? This card's stupid too. Like, why do they have a counter spell that draws them a card in green? So they get Teferi, bounce Midnight Reaper. So the Elderspell here is actually pretty good. See if they just play out another threat. I gotta try to bait them with the Duress. They most likely have another Veil, because of course they do. Why wouldn't you have another Veil? Okay, so we got Noxious Grasp. Veil me. Why is that a card in green? So we weren't really going to do much there. They protected their board that turn, so all we could have done was drop a 3/3. Very annoying. Very, very annoying. Let me give Arena a quick reset, and we'll come back for another one. That's hopefully a deck that sees some sort of neutering. So it's part of the reason I like the best of one better with this deck. You can just be more linear aggressive. They usually bring in the Fight Wolves. But we'll play another best of 3 just to demo the deck. Like in either of those turns, if they had double Veil, like Nissa just lets you tap out for it. Like there's the turn, I guess we could have held up the mana, but then we don't advance our board state. So then we're trying to be reactive, aggressive deck, which doesn't really help. Alright. Let's hope for a little better this time. Alright, we got Cat Oven. And of course we can't play it on turn 1 because our mana is terrible. So I'm going to go get a Swamp here. Yeah, I'll get a Swamp. Because a Swamp lets us do Cauldron Oven next turn. Okay. This could be the Regisaur build or Adventures. So next turn I'll drop Priest and Bloodfell unless we drop a Blood Crypt, then I can get the cat going. They Love Struck. So this is Adventures. So here I would love an untapped red source so we can kill it. Okay, so not the worst. It's usually better to have multiple ovens than multiple cats. Next turn we can sack the cat with the Mayhem Devil out. That way they can attack with Love Struck if they do cast it. If they don't, then I'm going to set up a Gutterbones Cauldron Familiar. Sack those two. Get enough mana for Mayhem Devil, play that out. Okay, the Legion's End. Now, I can sack this so they don't see our hand. Or I could just do the Cauldron. I think we just do this turn. because this gives me a free attack in next turn. Perfect. We drew another land. That lets me do a couple things. So this is a free attack. And then I'm going to play this down because it's more power. And then I'm going to hold this off because there's a couple sacks that I can do. So I'm going to do this on the end step so we can deal this, deal damage to the opponent. Because this sacking also triggers damage. Finally a decent draw with this deck. Okay, so Questing Beast. So I have this sack, and then it comes back, but I don't have another sack. So I can't kill it this turn. So Questing Beast will live this turn. Oh, that's perfect. Get out of my way. So I can Murderous. So I don't really want to sack it yet. Actually, I could do the Cauldron Familiar. If it dies, it's just a free way to get back. Get some chip damage in there. And then now I can sack this Cauldron Familiar if they have like another haste threat. We can easily get rid of pretty much anything except Rotting Regisaur right now, just because of the 6 toughness. Okay, they go Love Struck. Hey Vanessa, just give me a sec, I'll link you. If you're watching it on PC, the deck is just in the right hand corner. If not, give me a second, I'll link it for you. The sideboard I've been modifying since we've been playing, so it's going to be a little bit different. The main board's the same as the one you see here. I've been playing this deck predominantly best of 1, so this is the first few games that I've played in best of 3. So this is free right now. Just get this chip damage in. This is my favorite thing to do with the deck. You just get this engine going. Ooh, Menagerie. Not quite enough yet. So we'll just do this, whichever one they block. So he probably blocks the Gutterbones is my guess. But that's 2 damage that comes in. We're just trying to get as much incidental damage going. We have 3 more damage with these Cauldron Familiars. And then I could potentially set it up where with the Cauldron Familiars and Menagerie I could bring it back and then just drain him the last few points of damage. I'm not sure if these lists play Cryocarnarium on the side. Oh, that's pretty aggressive. Actually, they're dead. So they do have Finality, so I have to be mindful of that. for the post-board games. So that interaction is basically 3 points of damage every time you get it going. Alright, so in this matchup, the Grasps probably want the Finality just as a grindy element. Gutterbones could probably come out. They're a little weak in this matchup. Do they play Nissa? It's probably not. They have Murderous Rider, which you can't get. A lot of their spells are creature based. I don't think I want Legion's End. Tybalt, they're not really going to gain life. One cut. I like the Menagerie. This is going to be a grindier matchup typically. I could probably cut one Lazotep. The Fiend's not bad because it can turn off the Lovestruck Beast tokens. Let's cut down one Lazotep. Priest is a way to set up so we can... another way to deal with Questing Beast. But what you do sometimes with Questing Beast, most of the time how I get rid of it is you set up enough with Mayhem Devil, the cat in the oven, just to sack and bring it back, sack, bring it back, and then you can deal with it that way there. This matchup, the Golgari matchup's not too bad. They have been switching to have fine finality, so you do have to be somewhat mindful there. We benefit from the sacrifice, not the death triggers as the traditional aristocrats would. So you can't really force them. But there's times with like Mayhem, when you have Midnight Reaper, you can draw like 4 or 5 cards. That's how we did against Golos in that first game. We had 4 creatures on board, they Clarion, but we just refilled our hand and then we just continued on our way. So cat combo is usually important in this matchup. So this could be the like Great Henge variant. Oh, this hand is sweet. Yep. I can Bloodfell on 2. You know what? I am gonna do it like this. So the reason I'm doing this is because they could have Legion's End and they could exile my cat. I want to be able to have up the oven to protect against the Legion's End. So we lose out on 1 point of damage, but it protects our combo. Okay, then just go Foulmire. Ooh, multiple is even better. There was a play as well, we could have just gone Oven, but I like this version better because now I could go Mayhem Devil next turn. I'm probably going to sack the cat and then keep the token so I can start shooting a couple things. So we're just going to block and sack. They could bring in like Brontodon, but if they're bringing in a Brontodon for an oven, then I'm fine for it. Well, if that's their whole turn, that's even better. So we'll just pass the turn here. Because I have like multiple points of damage, I want to kind of force their hand. They could Murderous Rider here. Okay, that's fine. And usually with this deck, you don't win like all in one turn. It's like a point of damage here, a point of damage there. So all these little shocks on the opponent will... See, this, they can't sack... So if they sack this, I get to kill their Foulmire Knight. So their land just killed their creature. Next turn, I can decide how I want to do this. Rankle's the most mana efficient, and I could get them to discard. They could Questing Beast here, so I have the 1 sack, the 2 sack, the 3 sack, the 4 sack. So I could kill a Questing Beast this turn. This deck is usually a bit more math, just because you can't fast track some of the steps. That's fine. They're not really doing anything here. You can't block anyways, right? I'm just going to keep their creatures off the board. So I'm going to do it this time because I could get in some extra damage with the clear board. So that's actually an extra point of damage, so we can do that. They're also a mana off Finality, so I could be a little bit more aggressive this turn and then set up the double oven turn. Each player discards a card. Really only need the red source for Mayhem Devil. So they get rid of the Foulmire Knight. Then we have 3 points of damage. Sack this, sack that, and drain. So I'm pretty close to dead. Even a Massacre Girl here, we just sack the Cauldron Familiar, so then it doesn't get the... That's fine. So if they make this try to deal damage, I just sack the Familiar, and then deal the damage to the Foulmire Knight. Because this has Death Touch, it's a way around. Yeah. Once you get this cat lock combo going, especially against these small decks, it's really easy to take out your opponent. Much better. Much better. We don't play Golos, and we are happy. Let me just give Arena a quick reset. Usually when we go for about half an hour or so, it starts getting temperamental. We already had a crash earlier in the day. How's everyone doing today? So I'm going to run one more best of one. Just I didn't get as much in best of one as I wanted to. Actually, let me update my deck list. So we lost against Oko. We won here, so we're 20-9. So this is the list with all my decks that I play. Like in terms of ranked, I usually overrecord my win percentage. So I usually omit either games where either myself or the opponent was mana screwed, or like games obviously where the arena crashes. I want to know like for actual games. Hey Badonkadonk, you can find the deck list here. The sideboard I'm still tweaking a bit. So we'll keep this hand. We are playing the mirror. So they have half the combo going already. So sideboards, I'll update the sideboard after the game. Okay, so they already have the combo going. And they have their lines set up. So I'm going to attack. If they want to trade, they can. And then they just sack to this. Because we don't have the cat, I'm just going to go Gutterbones. It's a second attacker. If they have Mayhem Devil, we're in a bit of trouble. The stupid lion's really screwing us. This might be the more... Okay, so we gotta do this now. Yeah, I don't think we win this now. I need an untapped lion to Murderous Rider this turn. Because here they could kill both our Gutterbones. I'm gonna concede if we don't draw a land. They're gonna have the lock on us. We play 2 Bloodfell Caves. But I always draw them. Play like 20 swamps or something ridiculous. Never Blood Crypt. I'll update the record after. Usually with these lists, if I could hover around like 60% win, you can usually progress pretty well. But usually I find like I'll win 3 or 4 in a row. Yo, keep this. Draw me a land, and we got the lock. This is like one of the best possible hands you could draw. So we get wrecked by mainboard Cryocarnarium. Give me a land, give me a land. Oh, this might be the turbo mill. The mono blue dredge list. This matchup I find you just want to be as aggressive as possible. Because you can usually lock them with Mayhem Devil. Are you kidding me? Ah, we're a land away, land away. I imagine it's still the mono blue. Yeah. So Drowned Secrets is how they kind of go crazy and they mill a lot. Yeah. So it's on a cast trigger anyways. I love when they say Argo, like you were targeted our stuff. You know what we're gonna do this turn. Oh my god. If we lose this because we didn't draw a third land and drew all 3 drops, I'm gonna be so pissed. Hard cast Creeping Chill. Sure. Would you like to take an extra point of damage? Bloodfell Caves. At least we can cast it. So Priest will allow us to draw into it, and then I can Midnight Reaper to try to hopefully find a land. I can also just Mayhem Devil next turn, and then that locks them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they get a Phoenix. They get another Phoenix. So we do have to keep these Phoenixes back defensively. The fact they haven't hit Creeping Chill's pretty good for us. If they attack, they're dead. do this. Take another point off the top. Okay, so double oven. Okay, I think we could win without attacking. Okay, so target you. You lose 2 life. Hey, we drew it. We drew it. We're gonna flex on him in style mode. Didn't even need to shock there. So basically you just sack, you drain him of the last little bit. Alright, so we ended up finishing just 1 rank notch below where we started. Ran into a lot of Oko, which is probably going to be a statement I have quite a bit going forward. But it's pretty much the deck. You can find it. I'm going to upload the updated sideboard option to Aether Hub. But this is the main board. Basically, mono black, splash red for Mayhem Devil. Bloodfell Caves always gives me headaches, but we have to play them. And then a couple, basically Experimental Frenzy out of the side and Tybalt versus Life Gain decks. What we're trying to do is Aristocrat style, Sacrifice, Cauldron Familiar, Witch's Oven, Mayhem Devil to create a lock where we can just ping any of the opponent's stuff to death. Ayara makes all our creatures coming to the battlefield drain for some more life. You can draw cards with Midnight Reaper and Cauldron Familiar loop, where you basically draw, it's tap oven, draw a card, opponent loses 1 life, which is a cool interaction, and then Rankle's a good threat in the air. So that's pretty much it. I'll have both this video and the best of 1 ones we were playing earlier up as 2 separate videos. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and enjoy the rest of the MCQ. If you are tuning in, 21 and 10 with the list. Not too bad. Golos Fires got me there before, and then kind of playing with that. If you are looking to build this deck as well, I do have a budget version we played earlier in the week. It's about 10 rares. You get a couple of the free ones with like Judith. You get 1 Midnight Reaper free. Blood Crypt is 1 free. Bedevil's free. But the rest of the deck's pretty affordable deck in terms of arena goes. So I'm going to be doing a build series with this. So I'll have a mid-budget as well. But I wanted to play some of this non-budget first. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and have a great rest of the day.